video is going to be a tutorial for a granny square inspired, no, it's not inspired, it's a granny square laptop cover. This is how it looks. Super cute. It has multiple colors on both sides, and flap as well, so it closes like this. Attach the button as well. You can make this in any color you would like, with as many colors. You can make it just one color, two colors, like literally a whole variety of colors like I did here. Made is perfect for a 14-inch size laptop. So for example, I'm just gonna put my computer in here. It closes literally perfectly and looks stunning. I'm using 8 colors, scissors, 4mm crochet hook, a yarn needle. First we'll make the actual granny square and then we'll do the sides. For row 1, we're going to start with a magic ring. So just pull your yarn through. After this, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be followed by 2 double crochets. First double crochet and then the second one. This counts as a cluster of 3 because the chain 3 acts as 1 double crochet. Now you're going to chain 1 and put 3 double crochets. So this is 1. I just have a little knot, so I'm just going to ignore that. 1, 2, pull through, and then the last one. So pull through. And after this, I'm going to make 2 more clusters. So chain 1, do 3 double crochets. And then chain 1 and do 3 double crochets and chain 1 once more. To end the row, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 we made in the start. So pull through your yarn, pull through this color. Now I'm gonna pull through and cut off my yarn, but if you're continuing with this yarn, just stay tuned and don't cut anything off. We'll be now attaching a new color, and because it's a little bit thinner, I'm going to use this trick of making it thicker. So I'm folding it in like a free way, as you can see on the screen, then using all 3 parts of the string to make a slip knot. And after this, I'll show you how to extend it during your actual crochet, but now we're going to attach it to our existing clover. Yeah, let's call this a clover. We're going to attach this to a clover. I like attaching it in a corner, so in this chain 1 that we have. So put your hook through, pull your new yarn through, and we are going to chain 3 to fix it. 1, 2, and 3. After this, we are going to pull our yarn through this little loop to extend it. I like doing it like a long way, so I don't have to pull it through again. This just makes sure we have 3 strings folded as one, so the yarn just stays thicker. And now we're going to do 2 double crochets. So pull through. This is 1, and then another one now. Yarn over, pull through 2. And now we're going to chain 1 and place 3 more double crochets into that same exact hole. So this is 1, 2, and finally, we're going to do our third one. So pull through 2, pull through 2 more. Chain 1, and we're going to start on our next corner. Just make sure, just untighten it a little bit if it's super tight. So chain 1, and we're going to do a similar thing. So place 3 double crochets into our corner. 1, 2, and finally 3. After this, we are going to chain 1. So we chained 1, and now we're going to do 3 double crochets. Here is 1, 2, and finally 3. pattern is going to be the same now, so you're going to chain 1, and then into the next hole you're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then to begin on your final kind of hole in the clover, you're going to again place 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and chain 1. Don't worry, you can see on the screen how to do this if you're lost, and if you're lost, just scroll back and hopefully it will make sense. End your row by slip stitching into the third top of chain 3 that you began with. So I'm just pulling it through, and then because I'm doing a new color, I'm just snipping this yarn off. Row 3 is going to be like similar to all the other following rows. So we're attaching our new yarn. So we're chaining 3 like we did in the previous row, and we're going to do 2 double crochets. This is because we're in a corner and we're creating this triangle shape. So 1 and then 2. Chain 1 and do 3 double crochets and chain 1 after. There is now a hole in between the 2 corners, so we're going to go with 3 double crochets into that. So 1, 2, and 3. After this, we are going to chain 1 and do a corner as usual. If you forgot how to do a corner, all instructions are written below. It is 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets, chain 1, and after that we are going to do 3 double crochets into the middle hole and then another corner, and just follow this pattern around until you come back to where we started. Row 4 will be identical to row 3 except for one small change, which will just increase every time. So I'm thickening this yarn, just going through, chaining 3, and then we'll do the usual 2 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. So now we have 2 holes in the middle, so we're going to chain 1 and we're going to place our first cluster of 3 double crochets into the first hole. So this is 2, and 3, chain 1, and then place 3 more double crochets into that next hole. There's going to be like more and more holes as we go about with every row, so you'll just have to see. They're going to be really noticeable, and you will know how to distinguish a hole from a corner. In the corners, we do the same exact thing of chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Don't freak out, guys, this is the other pattern, this is the other panel. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows in that fashion. And moving on into making this a rectangle, we're going to start on the right side, but we're going to do essentially the same thing on the left side. So you want to insert your hook into the corner, and we are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This acts like a double crochet and chain 1, after which we're going to place 3 double crochets into the following cluster. So 1, 2, and 3. Here is 3, chain 1, and we're going to continue of doing 3 double crochet clusters until the very end. You should end, if you're doing the same size for 14-inch laptop as me, you should end up with 7 clusters. And by chaining 4, and we are going to slip stitch into the last corner of the row and just snip our yarn off. Now we're going to repeat this whole thing on the other side, so I'll show you how to do that, but it's literally the same as we done on the other row. We attach through the hole in the corner, chain 4, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then continue doing clusters of 3 double crochets and chains. Following the color scheme of what I did in the middle, I'm going to now attach orange. These 2 rows are going to be alternated all along. So we're going to chain 3 into the very first kind of 4 chains we've done. And we're going to place 2 double crochets into this hole. So this is going to act like a cluster of 3. So this is 1 double crochet, and then the 3rd double crochet. So as you have probably guessed, we're going to chain 1 and place 3 double crochets into the next hole. You'll continue this until the very end. You should end up with 7 clusters, and to finish off, we're going to chain 4, and we will slip stitch into the 3rd chain if we're counting from left. We're just slip stitching and securing our yarn, cutting it off, and do exactly the same thing on the other side. Now continue alternating rows 1 and 2 until you've reached your desired length. Just to show how I'm attaching the next row, which is the same as the first row, I'm putting it into the very first loop of the orange round and chaining 4. This will be followed by 3 double crochets into the gap between the first and the second orange cluster. So place 3 double crochets, then you're going to chain 1, 3 double crochets, and do that until the very end. Basically, you're going to do just row 1 once more. After this, you're going to repeat row 2, then row 1, then row 2. Guys, I'm so sorry, but the actual clip for this disappeared, so I'm just going to quickly explain that. We're now doing the border, and for that I'm attaching my yarn similarly as I did in row 1. So through the in between the very first double crochet or the chain 3, I'm doing 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. I'll show you that in this clip. When you're at a corner, you're going to, so you've chained one, and now you're going to do free double crochet, chain one, free double crochet. To go around, we've chained one, and now we're going to go into this chain 4 of the previous round. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and do a cluster of 3 into that next kind of gap, and just do that until the very end of that like length. When you reach a corner, you're going to do free double crochet, chain 1, free double crochet, and just continue crocheting that around your whole panel until you reached where we began. Attach your panels with a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. So here's me slip stitching, and finally snipping off my yarn. You're going to need 2 of these panels for your laptop. We will now assemble our cover. So I'm flipping one side, the wrong side up, and then the other side is also going to be the right side up. And I'm just make sure they match in sizing and everything, so it just looks all nice and neat. Don't worry about the tails, you'll weave those in later, but for now we just have a job of stitching around and leaving the top length open. You're just gonna use this using like a normal stitching technique, but I'll show you how to get a really nice border effect. To get the border effect, you're going to go through the 2 arrows on top as normal in your first stitch, and this is how I'm securing my yarn. So I'm pulling it through and then going through the knot I made in the beginning. So this is just nice and secure and it doesn't unravel. But now we're going to go through both of the arrows on top of the first side, and then on the other side we're going to go through the back loop, so not the right arrow, but through the back loop and some stitches behind that, and we're just going to repeat that throughout our whole length of stitching around the MacBook cover. This is the effect I'm talking about. Feel like it looks much better than just not having a stitch line at all. Once you're done, you can fasten off your yarn, so just do it in a normal sewing way technique, and I like tying a couple of knots so it's extra secure. We folded the cover, and now we're going to make a flap, so I'm attaching that into the top of my front panel. I'm chaining 3, and I'm doing a cluster of 3 basically. I'm chaining 3, doing 2 double crochets, and then chain 1, and putting another 3 double crochets into the next hook. You want to do that throughout the whole first panel. Like throughout the whole, all of the clusters of the first panel. And we're going to gradually decrease that so it looks a little bit like a pyramid. So in your next row, you're going to begin in the next hole, in the next row in the other hole. When you're finally at this end bit, because it's an uneven number, likely it's going to be an uneven number for you, we're going to attach our string as usual, chain 3, but now we're going to place each double crochet individually. So one in the second stitch, and then the last one into the third stitch. As I'm attaching a button, I'm going to make like a little, I'm not sure what it's called, like a thing that holds it. So I'm just chaining 5, 6 loops, This depends on the size of your button, so don't take my word because this won't fit all buttons, but for my standard size button, 5 stitches was enough. After this, I'm going to like twist my flap, and I'll slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that we've done, and I will now fasten off. This is it for the video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you decided to make this bag, make sure to send me your creations on my Instagram at asio.youtube. Anyways guys, like, comment, and subscribe.